Most guys think attraction comes down to looks, money, or saying the perfect line at the perfect time. But the truth is, especially as you get older, it's none of that. What actually makes a woman feel something for you often comes down to how you communicate on a much deeper level. Not what you say on the surface, but the emotional signal underneath it. And there are two simple words, just two, that can completely change the way a woman experiences you. Not because they're magical on their own, but because of what they represent when you say them the right way. These two words tap into something most men never even realize exists in female psychology. They create an emotional imprint, the kind that sticks. I've spent a long time paying attention to how attraction really works in real interactions. Not theory, not pickup lines, but actual conversations between men and women. And the pattern is always the same. The men who stand out aren't the loudest, they aren't the flashiest, and they're definitely not the ones trying the hardest. They're the ones who know how to communicate intent and appreciation without overcomplicating it. So let's break it down. The first word is simple: I want. And yeah, it sounds almost too basic, but that's exactly why most men underestimate it. When a man says, I want, clearly, without hesitation, it immediately communicates something powerful. It shows direction. It shows ownership of his desires. It shows that he's not waiting around for permission or trying to read the room before he speaks. Think about the difference between saying, maybe we could hang out sometime if you're free, versus, I want to take you out this weekend. I know a spot you'll like. One feels unsure. The other feels grounded. One puts the pressure on her to decide. The other leads the interaction forward. And here's what matters. Women respond to that energy. Not because it's forceful, but because it's clear. It signals that you know what you're doing, that you're comfortable making decisions, and that you're not afraid of a little tension in the moment. That kind of presence creates attraction because it removes uncertainty. It feels stable. But here's where most guys mess it up. If all you do is say, I want, you can come off as self-focused. Like the interaction is only about what you're trying to get. That's why the second word changes everything. The second word is I appreciate. And this is where things get deeper. When you combine I want with I appreciate, you create balance. You're not just expressing desire, you're showing that you actually see her. Not just how she looks, but who she is. For example, instead of saying, I want to see you again, you say, I want to see you again. I really appreciate how easy it is to talk to you. Or, I appreciate the way you think. It's different. Now the moment has weight. Now it feels personal. Because here's the truth. Most men never go beyond surface level compliments. They talk about looks or they keep things vague. But when you acknowledge something real about her, something specific, it stands out immediately. It tells her you're paying attention. It tells her she's not interchangeable. And that hits on a completely different level. There's also a subtle shift happening here that most people miss. When you say, I appreciate, you're not putting yourself below her. You're not seeking validation. You're choosing to recognize something about her from a place of confidence. That difference is huge. One comes from neediness, the other comes from clarity. Now, there's one detail that makes or breaks all of this, and almost no one talks about it. That detail is congruence. If your words say one thing, but your body says something else, none of it works. You can say, I want all day, but if your voice is shaky, your posture is closed off, or you can't hold eye contact, the message collapses. People don't respond to words alone. They respond to alignment. When you say, I want, it needs to come from a place of certainty. Your body should look relaxed, grounded, open. When you say, I appreciate, you slow down slightly. You let it land. You don't rush through it like it's just another sentence. That pause is what gives it meaning. And then there's timing. You don't throw these words into every conversation like a script. That's where it gets awkward. You use them when the moment actually calls for it. When there's already a connection building, when something genuine has happened, when there's a reason for it to exist. Think about the end of a good date. The energy is calm, there's a moment of eye contact, and instead of defaulting to something generic, you say, I want to see you again. I really appreciate your energy. That's it. Simple. But now the moment sticks. What you've done there is create what psychologists call an emotional anchor. You've tied her experience of you to a specific feeling, being seen, being valued, being desired in a calm, grounded way. And that's the kind of feeling people don't forget. So it's not about using fancy lines. It's not about memorizing scripts. It's about understanding how to communicate in a way that actually lands. 2 words. I want. I appreciate. When they're real, when they're aligned with your energy, and when you use them at the right time, they change everything. Because at the end of the day, attraction isn't about impressing her. It's about creating a moment she can feel. And most men never learn how to do that.